Hello, it's Rev'd Julie here from St Mark's Church, Brampton, with this week's Thought for the Week, which is based on John's Gospel, chapter 15 and verses 1 to 8. And it's all about when Jesus says that we are to be the branches of the vine. And so I thought I'd come out into the garden and we could do this recording with the blossom behind and to be reminded that we are in the season of spring, even though it is a little bit chilly on this day. So today I'm going to be thinking about the three R's. Anybody want to guess what the three R's are? Yes, they have in the past been known as reading, writing, and arithmetic, although I never did quite understand why that's three R's. But anyway, today is going to be something different. I am the true vine, said Jesus, and my Father is the vine grower. Our passage today from John's Gospel challenges us to take to heart three new R's. They are removing, remaining, and renewal. Removing, remaining, and renewal. As I said, it is spring, and all around us are signs of new life, especially here in the garden. The trees are in blossom, the grass is growing longer. We've seen snowdrops, daffodils, and dandelions, and yet already we are getting to grips with removing. Whether we call it mowing, or deadheading, or thinning out, most of us who have even the tiniest experience of gardening know that some things must be removed. I enjoy my garden, but I know I'm probably speaking to people who are far more experienced than me. But not many of us have a lot of direct knowledge of growing vines, at least not as far as I'm aware. The imagery or picture language that Jesus uses would have been far more familiar to the immediate listeners and those who read John's Gospel in ages past. Culturally, many of us have become disconnected with the earth, the seasons, the cycle of growing things, and our dependence on the climate. Wine, for example, is available in bottles. Grapes are available in plastic tubs or in bags, and raisins come in little boxes all year round. We are consumers. We are no longer cultivators. God, however, in this parable is not the winemaker, nor is he the grape packer, but rather the vine grower. Pull yourself away from the image of the grapes and look behind to the image of the branch or stem, and then follow it all the way back to its root and notice where it is planted. Every winter, the vine grower goes to the vine that has been growing just fine, thank you very much, and cuts it right back to the stem. And I have read that in some parts of the world, this stem is then buried in order to keep it safe until the following spring. Then, during the spring, the vine grower constantly tends the branches and removes anything that will get in the way of its true purpose, which is the creation of fruit. William Temple, former Archbishop of Canterbury, wrote this: "The vine lives to give its life-blood. Its flower is small, its fruit abundant, and when that fruit is mature and the vine has become, for a moment, glorious, the treasure of the grapes is torn down and the vine is cut right back to the stem." This image might help us as we begin to think about the effect of the pandemic on our lives and on the mission and ministry here in Brampton, and what the future might look like. In the run-up to March 2020, here at St Mark's, we had been running a very well-attended monthly messy church, toddler group, Time for Tea social group. We were beginning a monthly family communion service and were enjoying a flourishing relationship with the school and local community. Then, as we know, everything stopped. It felt like the harvest was still maturing, and yet we were plunged into a season of winter where everything we were used to was removed. Sturdy branches that were growing, such as Sunday morning worship, the weekly toddler group, and other activities, were cut right back and removed by the sheer force of the pandemic sweeping across the world, across our society and our community. But I wonder, is it possible that God has used this time of removing for the extension of his kingdom, to benefit the health of the vine, its branches, and future fruit? Let's go back to the image of the vine and ask, in this situation, what does the vine do? When the process of removing has taken place, what next? Well, the vine remains rooted in the ground, and the pared back branches remain in the vine. And this is our second R, remaining. The translation that we've had this morning in our Bible reading calls this abiding, which carries with it the meaning of remaining close, staying in relationship, waiting well, not wandering off, being in a shared space. Jesus says we are to remain or abide or wait well in him. The purpose of removing ensures the right word is in the right places to promote a future growth of fruit, the gift of all that is life. And in the same way, remaining in the vine also promotes the future growth of fruit, that gift of all that is life. Have a think about the different ways that you have remained in Jesus, in the vine, this last year. And for us as a community of Christians, what has enabled us to stay rooted and remain in Jesus, the true vine? I'd like to suggest a few ideas. You can add your own in the comment box if you'd like to. Because for me, remaining in Jesus has included daily prayer. It has actually included getting to grips with Zoom and Facebook and group email, picking up the phone to share fellowship, visiting someone on their doorstep, sending a letter or a card. There are more, but the point I want to stress is that everything we have done has come about from remaining in Jesus. This last year has been tough, don't get me wrong, and yet many of us have found we have benefited from paying attention to where the roots of our Christian life are. And time will tell, but perhaps we are emerging stronger as a community of believers as a result. Which leads me to the third R, the one I have called renewing. We are resurrection people, celebrating that yes, Jesus died, and yes, that Jesus rose from the dead. Daily, we recall the way in which the God of all that is life and the renewal of all that is living is the way that God demonstrates his power and presence in the world even today. Think about the renewal of the vine. Because of the removal and the remaining, there is renewal of the same plant. Only this time, what grows is new for this coming season. It's recognisably the same, and yet it is different. As St. Mark's Church and as the community of Brampton, we can look back to what has been removed for us, or we can look forward to see what will be renewed. I hope we will look forward with confidence, knowing that our commitment to mission and ministry and the furthering of God's kingdom here in Brampton will be blessed by God as another season of fruitfulness as we live out our Christian lives. Very specifically, 11 days from now, between the 13th and 24th of May, St Mark's Church, we are going to take part in the global prayer initiative called Thy Kingdom Come. This gives us 11 days when we will intentionally and boldly proclaim that we are people who pray. Our aim is to pray for our world, our community and ourselves, and then specifically to identify 5 people who do not yet know what it is to follow Jesus and pray for them to become Christians. Wouldn't it be awesome if this church was to grow by 5 new people coming to faith? Or what about if 10 people came to faith, or 20 or more? What a difference an additional 20 people would make to God's mission and ministry here in Brampton and right across our community. Jesus is the vine. We are the branches. We have experienced the removal of much, but we have also remained rooted in the source of life that is Jesus. And if anything, this past year has enabled many of us to find we are more connected to Jesus than ever before. And so now, may we find that we are ready for renewal. Time for us to begin to grow again, to bear fruit, fruit that will last. Amen.